important that we discuss this topic called Digital Safe Health Cities and Districts and Smart Mobility. Uh, Now I would like to call on the dais the moderator, Mr. Arun Moral, who is the partner Enterprise Technology and Performance Consulting, Deloitte, India. Huge round of applause for Mr. Arun. Mr. G.S. Naveen Kumar, IAS, Special Secretary, Health and Family Welfare, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Can we have you on the stage, sir? Dr. N. Satyanarayana, IAS, Commissioner and Director of Municipal Administration, Government of Telangana. Have we not circulated the bowls yet? Because the claps are not coming in. Mr. Pranay Singh, IAS, Commissioner, Varanasi Municipal Corporation and CEO, Varanasi Smart City Limited. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Dr. Shafqat Khan, Additional Mission Director, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, UT of Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Binu Francis, Secretary, Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, Government of Kerala. Mr. Amit Shukla, PCS Assistant Municipal Commissioner, Varanasi Municipal Corporation. Mr. Prasun Talutkar, who is the National Manager, Business Development, Digital India and Strategic Projects, Government and PSU, Micro Focus, to please join us back on the dais once again. Mr. Arun, this panel is all yours. I think one of the most important discussions of the day is going through the last session as well. Okay, so as requested, in your delegate kits, there is a feedback form. The best feedback forms, the best comments or the best recommendations will be awarded, and we'll also have a lucky draw post this panel discussion. So please do not go anywhere. This is such an amazing panel that we have here in front of us. Mr. Arun, please take this panel away. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. A very good evening to one and all, and I hope we had a sensational session right from. Great. So as we were just getting a prelude that this is one of the most important sessions. Any guesses why this is most important? Because this session is going to talk about your health, your safety, and the transport. And these are the three pillars for any city or a state to run successfully. So today we have some eminent leaders here who are going to share their experiences and success stories, how they've managed to, come out and manage it for their own authorities that they lead. So this is going to be the most interesting and exciting section. With that, I would want to start off to say, okay, so out of these three agenda points, so each of them has an overlap, but still we want to take it one by one. Let me take first the health aspects of it. The health, if you were to look into the National Health Policy 2017, it clearly says that India has been traveling reasonably fine. You look at the infant mortality rate, we've been from 67 to almost 38. And you have the mortality rate, there also we have been reduced from 374 to 174. The life expectancy has also been increased from 63 to 68. So things are all fine, but there are certain new challenges that are brewing in the last few years. That has been in terms of the affordability and in terms of equitable access of healthcare. So while this has been brewing, some of the states, like particularly Andhra Pradesh, have done exceedingly well, but in aspects related to affordability and equitable access. One of the strategies that I could hear in the public forums is like government of Andhra Pradesh has been taking up a strategy related to say to identify the disease much early, and also to have an aggressive treatment. You're able to kind of optimize your overall cost of expenditure of the health care. So the affordability is getting addressed there. Second is apart from the conventional path of having primary health center, secondary and tertiary, they've tried to optimize on the load on the tertiary and the secondary by having door-to-door survey, means actually access is being delivered there. So these are two fantastic strategies which are, adopted by the state. Sir, could you request if you could share how have you come up to this strategy and how effective it has been for the state, sir?
Thank you, Arun. See, I represent AP, right? So what we do in AP is, if you see the 4 southern states, after the bifurcation, I think AP was one which they lost the most, in fact. But we are the one who are the quick learners also. What we have done in the last 4-5 years or the last 2 decades or so, we are trying to learn quickly. How do we do it? So there's a new word in the healthcare which we call Andhra model. Whatever Kerala has done, whatever Karnataka has done, whatever Tamil Nadu has done. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to learn quickly from our neighboring state and scale it up. When do you try to scale it up, what you do is you need to use a lot of technology. So like what Arun mentioned was, what happened to us during the COVID crisis, the Delta wave? We did not have any tertiary hospital at all in AP. But how did we manage? And we were the lowest in mortality rate. The single reason being, like the way he said, we started doing triaging at home. And we decided whether this fellow, triaging means we had fewer surveys. Even now, as I talk, there are fewer surveys which happen at door to door. It is because we have a system called Gramavard Sachivalayam. I was the first commissioner of Gramavard Sachivalayam also. What happened is we have a huge man force or manpower on the field which goes house to house. For every 2,000 people, we have an A&M. And these people go house to house taking a tab, taking your fever survey, and they do a triaging there. What I mean by triaging is whether this person needs home care alone or he needs even better, what you call COVID care centers, or does he need hospitalization? So one of these 3 things would happen. And every second day, the call would go from our call center, which is 104 call center, to find out whether he's okay or not. And a team of bunch of doctors would be talking. So this is what we call the Andhra model. We scaled it up using technology. We had a gap. The gap was filled in by bringing in the technology. And the records are there on the face of us to see that mortality rates in Andhra Pradesh was the lowest in the country, one of the lowest in the country. And talking about digital, the digital thing started somewhere in September 23rd of last year, the rollout of Ayushman digital mission, Ayushman Bharat digital mission. So what did we do? So we have created 3.2 crores of digital IDs, which is 32 million of digital ID. We are the topping the country now as I speak. And we also have created the EHRs. Your health records are on in the ABDM. You can go and see it in the ABDM website. It is today, as I speak, it is 25 lakh EHR applications which we have put. What does it mean? It means that every single child which is born in this state of Andhra Pradesh in the next 2 years or 3 years will have every single record on the digital platform. So this is something which we have done it very clearly. We have a clear vision. There is a reason for it. Reason being, when you see healthcare or disease pattern, it has completely shifted to NCD. 70% of your diseases is 4 diseases. Whoever is sitting here, you will be, as a person right now, as me, as you, we'd be talking about 4 diseases, right? Hypertension, diabetes, cardiology, and oncocare. Which would mean that there is a need for home care. We talk about more home care services to come. How do you build an home care services? By bringing in a command center, going house to house. We have, with the limited resources, we have a shortage of doctors, we have a shortage of medical professionals, and the shortage can be only meted out with bringing in technology, smart, I would call it smart health practices, bringing the combination of, triaging, and, even you can think of appointment-based modeling where the pharmacists, the medicines are delivered home care using a home care model. This would bring adherence, which when we talk about, he was talking about 6A, I would always talk about 6A model of healthcare. One is the awareness, acceptance, availability, accessibility, affordability. The last one is the adherence. And for your 70% of your, which I think when you are talking about disease pattern, which 70% of your population going to the NCD care, which means you need higher adherence. How do you bring in adherence? We'll bring in adherence by digital follow-up. So that is one of the strategies which we are trying out in the next few months or so. I think that's the first round of comments.
Fantastic, sir. One more good point that, what we get highlighted in Andhra Pradesh was about the use of volunteers, because government and its entities are, to an extent, can be reachable. But I think Andhra Pradesh is also looked at to leverage a lot on volunteers who are available across. And that has helped them to build their ecosystem. So some limelight on how you've able to bring in the volunteers in and how they've helped the government in this process.
So yeah, he spoke about this one. So I think I had to add to the concept. I think many of you would not know what is this Grama, what is Sachivalayam. For every 2,000 people, we have a Sachivalayam, which is a secretariat, which we call village secretariat. There are 10 kinds of people sitting there. One would be from revenue, one would be from education, one would be from health, one would be from the sanitation. So 10 kinds of agriculture. And so we have 10 kinds of people, the grassroots workers sitting there. To help these grassroots workers, we have a volunteer who is the connect between the secretariat and the population. For every 50 household, rural households, we have a volunteer. For every 100 households in the urban area, we have a volunteer. I would clearly see it. I was one who was in charge of mass distribution, right, when we had that lockdown. So what we did is the entire state was shut down. We started supplying groceries. We started supplying medicine. Remember, HIV patient, all these patients, the medicines were supplied at their doorstep when the lockdown was on. We could do it because of this volunteer network. I would appreciate the way they operated. They had put their lives at risk and they were operating. And these guys, these are 2.62 lakh people in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And the entire departments are around 4 lakh. 1.34 is the total number of workers in the secretariat, which means we have 15,004 secretariats for catering to the state of Andhra Pradesh. And we have 2.62 volunteers. The largest, I think probably when we talk about it, the largest grassroots organization in the world. It takes minutes, 5 minutes to, if I talk, or if you want to send a message, or if you want to create an awareness, we just have to send a message and it gets transmitted to the last man within 5 minutes. And we also have a system to get back the feedback from the bottom up. We can also get feedback from the bottom up. This is a way we were talking to them throughout the COVID. And we have used, I think probably Andhra was benefited from this huge grassroots administrative setup. Thank you.
There we could see that, one is strategy coupled with, inclusive government, more collaboration has helped Andhra Pradesh to achieve where they have reached there currently. Srinagar, when we think about Srinagar, the first thing that comes to my mind is about their IMR rate. The IMR rate currently hovers something around 16 to 17, whereas the country's average is about 37. And when we went into little more deeper dives to see how they have kind of achieved, some of the insights that we could get is some of the facilities that they have got higher sanitations. Means that, the hospital facilities they have, they are focused on the cleanliness within it. And that has led to a great changeover. So let's hear from Dr. Shafqat Kanji to see how he has thought about it and how he has come about. Thank you.
Thanks, fellow panelists and all the guests seated here. And I think it's a very patient thing to stay by the end of the conclave. But I will tell you about the success stories of J&K because, as you rightly said, when you think about J&K, you think about Dal Lake, you think about the snow-clad mountains, and sometimes for the bad reasons through media. But I take pleasure telling this august audience that J&K vis-a-vis healthcare has strived very hard, especially in this past one decade. And we have achieved commendable figures, statistics, when it concerns our IMR, maternal mortality, our total fertility rate. And we stand, at a colossal change at a road where we are ambitious to be in the first 5 in the country. And as you rightly pointed out, our IMR was, I was just checking, it was 43 in 2008, and then it was 23 in 17, and now it is 16 rather. And how, it's a success story, and in 17, our IMR fell 10 points. And you know, it's a global news. I have researched IMR rates falling down, and it is of news to all of us that our IMR fall of 10 points has happened globally only once, and that is in the UT of J&K. So the steps, the innovations we took, as you rightly pointed out, were not only from the point of sanitation, but from the point of harnessing our human resource, our improving our doctor to patient ratios. We have improved our nurse to patient ratio as well. But on this platform today, as we talk about digital interventions, digital transformations, we think we have been able to comply to all the, infrastructural changes which have taken at the national level. Be it COVID, we were the first to vaccinate, this our entire 100% population of 18 to 45, and then the healthcare workers. And by now we have already achieved 100% vaccination in all groups of, individuals and citizens of the state. My understanding is that what do we want to do for a society when we talk about easing of businesses, ease of doing business? We want to make people happy, we want to make lives easy for people, because the ultimate aim is to make a human being happy, a citizen happy. That is what a government is for. And while saying this, I anticipate that a lot of work has been done in the country as well as J&K. And I'm happy to tell you that we, in the health and medical education sector, are giving 17 services online right now in J&K. Right from the age, disability certificates, physical fitness certificates, drug licenses, food licenses, Abha cards, and numerous other, services which we have totally put on the online platform. We have also transformed our entire secretariat and our subordinate offices into the e-office mode. And I was listening to one of the panelists in the earlier, sessions, that they are, at the secretariat level, 80% is being done, the directorates are being done. But I am very glad to tell you J&K achieved this feat in 2018, when we were in the middle of the COVID. We are entirely e-office, right from the secretariat to the smallest BDO's office on the ground. The Panchayati Raj institutions, the PRIs, also are being, because they were not fully functional in COVID. So now the Rural Development Department is also trying to entirely put them on the e-office platform. This is to, establish and envisage a very accountable and transparent process of governance and give people the ease of living and, a trust in governments and the functioning of the functionaries at the helm of affairs. So we in J&K are driven by the needs of the citizens. We are envisaging that whatever a citizen wants, the most easy way, the most compatible way, we place it in front of him. And as rightly pointed out, in fact, a little less focus was given to the point that a very strong grievance mechanism needs to be built in all setups, in all e-governance setups, wherever across the country. And the grievance redressal mechanism has to be such that the person has to be able to have a live interface with the government. You know, when not one-sided interface, when you put a grievance and then you don't know what has happened to your grievance and it comes back 1 month after. I think the grievance mechanism has to be very well thought. It has to be time tested. It has to be real time. A person like you go to Amazon, Flipkart, or any other online service which is the private sector. So you click on the WhatsApp button, you are able to chat with the sales executive as to where your order is, what is happening, in other aspects of your order, like when you order food. And I understand that is the similar need for us in governments to interact with our citizens very, very efficiently and in real time regarding their problems. And I think if a strong grievance mechanism is put in the online mode, a lot of other issues will be solved. I think that's all I would
Absolutely,
say
sir.
right now.
So, very fantastically put. I mean, one of the difference that I could see in sir's approach was he had brought in the people aspect, right? So, apart from the system, he looked at it from the people aspect. Who's working? What do they need, right? So, the system got built from that perspective. So, I think that is a huge game changer that, Srinagar has actually adopted. Uh, Dr. Satyanarayana ji, he's not here today, but I would want to share some thoughts that he wanted to share to all of you all. Government of Telangana, as you all know, is very, very enterprising in terms of, urbanization. So most of the places, highly urbanized and rapidly increasing as well. So what they've done is they've also adapted to a good channel called WhatsApp as a channel to do the property tax, and that not only kind of makes the life easier, but also kind of helps it to with a chatbot so that the people can get clarifications and also makes it easy for them to communicate, right? So that's been a huge game changer the recent past, and which the government of Telangana has adopted. And while we say that digital platforms are all good and it's all happening, one of the factors that was pulling back, like anything which is good also has a flip side, right? So WhatsApp as a platform which was growing lot of importance also had a flip side where the fake news were getting distributed. Now, of course, there was another panelist who had actually successfully kind of controlled this. It was Srimati Rema Rajeshwari, an SP of district within Telangana. What she had done is she had kind of made a small a folk dance and a folk play through which she was able to communicate to the larger people for whom the literacy rate has been slightly less only. So she was able to say that these messages of child kidnaps and particular health related of organ dissemination, all of this is untrue. So she was able to bring it back. So you could see how a digital platform at one side of it was used so positively, another side is being manipulated as well. Now coming back to one more aspect about cleanliness, we could find the entire state of UP had actually highlighted that they wanted to go into a state more focusing on cleanliness. In fact, all the ULBs and corporations were being advised to set up a cleanliness war room. So may I request Pranay Singh ji to share how and what kind of approach did Varanasi took over and what impact did it bring?
Thank you, Arun, and thank you, fellow panelists. As you have mentioned that UP government as a whole has taken the task of urban local bodies to be cleanliness in one of the cleanest in the India. Varanasi, because of its spiritual tourism, because of the religious significance, and in past 1 year, when Honorable PM inaugurated Sri Kashi Vishwanath corridor, has seen a very vast or very large number of tourists flocking to Varanasi through trains and airports. The main challenge when this kind of floating population comes to a city, which never used to cater to such kind of population, the main aspect is that general cleanliness, clean cities, clean water, and all the sanitation facilities which should be provided to the tourists. Just to give an idea, this was actually in UP, the Sawan month is the auspicious month for Shiva.
Yes.
So in Sawan, there are 4 Mondays, and it is the most auspicious day. So every day Varanasi was handling a floating population of devotees of 7.5 lakhs per day.
Okay.
And that kind of population was coming from trains, from other districts, around 10 districts of UP, Bihar, and airport also. So what the challenge was to create a war room which we implemented through Smart City, integrated command control room. That was 2 years back used in COVID, where all the geo-fencing of the houses were done and all that facilities were provided. Now that war room was transformed to cleanliness war room, where all the data points where tourists will be staying, where are the public toilets required, how much is the frequency, and that frequency is being followed or not. The thing is, we create an infrastructure, but if we are not monitoring it day and night, that creates a dirty picture. And that's the image we don't want anyone to take from Varanasi.
Absolutely.
So I am very happy to tell you that we have successfully achieved a very positive Savan month for our devotees. And when that war room, what it does, it takes the whole, I was telling in my other panel also, the ITMS integrated with the route management system of our vehicles, our sanitation facilities, it creates a holistic picture for the administrator at the central level to how to go about it. The surveillance camera, moreover, keeps a check what is the frequency of such, it may be Assi Ghat, one of the most popular ghat in Varanasi, where the footfall may be very high.
Yeah.
So if we have cameras, we have the complete city is covered with surveillance cameras. So we can see what is the footfall there. If we need to increase the workforce, sometimes it happens in municipal corporations or what we have seen, workforce is uniformly divided. That creates a challenge. Higher footfall, you never know, there may be some day, some 4 hours gap, a higher footfall came. And that creates a negative image. That creates sometimes a situation which a stampede can occur also.
Yeah.
So we, through our war room, we monitored it. And through our surveillance system, we have monitored the footfalls and how the cleanliness facilities, whether our vehicles are going or not, whether the garbage has been picked up in time or not. And through sensor-based mechanism, we see what is the load we are carrying on those days, specific days, whether we need to create additional facilities or provision for that thing. So I think when cleanliness comes, Varanasi has successfully used the digital technology, because it's very impossible to cover through manpower every nook and corner of the city. But if we have 2,200 cameras across city, we can at least see on a dashboard what is happening.
Absolutely.
And that work can be done by 50 volunteers manpower sitting in the central command control room. So that's how we did it. And I think I will like to welcome everyone else also to visit Varanasi once. It has been a very happening city recently. And after Shri Kashi Vishwanath corridor, the tourist footfall is very high. And right now I think it's one of the cleanest city, and cleanliness in air terms also. Recently, last week we got NCAP ratings. And Varanasi is one of the clean air pollution-free city in the UP. So I think we have achieved that also.
Absolutely, sir. I think the saying goes that wherever we spend time, the result keeps coming. I think Varanasi has already done that in terms of cleanliness. So one more interesting thing, which when we are learning about Varanasi, way back during the election stage, they took a very different approach. Like a change management strategy they adopted, where the government offices and private sector had played a friendly cricket match to bring in some kind of synergy to say that how each of them will go across. This was, I think, well promoted by the chief secretary himself. So we want to know, that we have not heard and similar thing happening. So we want to know what is the strategy, how it helped the government.
Actually, I think this cricket match which you are mentioning, it took place around February.
Yes, before the elections.
And for Varanasi administration, I was in the team. So that's why I know the first-hand experience. The thing is, when you go for any aspect, like any scheme, any mission, the current focus is on the people participation.
Correct.
Whether we give it through our IEC material or through interactive material. When we try to hold together a friendly cricket match it was between banks and administration.
Yes.
So what happens, it creates a chain effect.
Correct.
I may have 10 offices in district or government offices,
Yes.
but a HDFC bank or some other bank, it may have 50 offices where daily footfall is there. Every day it's a different customer.
Yeah.
A customer usually will not come once every day.
Correct.
So the idea is to integrate corporate and government aspects into a uniform strategy to make successful any campaigns. Right now, it's through on 17th we are starting a Indian Swachhta League,
Yeah.
and Swachh Bharat Mission, Government of India is promoting it. Again, there is a people participation. We are running a ghat campaign. We have 84 ghats where people will come, tourists will come, volunteer and cleanness. So the idea is not to promote as such a integrate single approach. We will promote, we will put hoardings. The idea is to interactive way where the people are coming, and then when it gets a critical mass, then media starts to cover it.
Absolutely.
You need to reach any mission, any scheme need to reach a critical mass to make it popular. When you reach that, then it becomes a chain reaction. A cricket match taking place in Varanasi itself, between Varanasi administration and banks, is being talked about here.
Yes.
So that's the thing
Impact.
we wanted.
Absolutely. Good, sir. I mean, so we were really thrilled. In fact, we were, amongst our peer group, we were brainstorming, and this example came as we were really feeling thrilled. Right? It is like the government has now stepped forward, opened up the gates, and making them to come across and embracing. So that's a very nice gesture, sir. Next question is to Amit Shuklaji. So we also understand for certain events within Varanasi, you had also procured firefighting bikes. So which potentially helps women and elderly and child safety. Basically, this was done in collaboration with that event which the Ministry of Tourism had connected in Varanasi. So, how have these bikes actually have fared? Has it helped the, people at large, and what has been the impact?
Just please repeat the question.
Yeah, so there was an event which was jointly done by Varanasi and the, Ministry of Tourism. This was for the people living outside the country, right? So, Videsh, and for which I think Varanasi has.
So in that case, those things came useful. That was the idea.
Okay, great. So this potentially in many of the areas which is hilly region, similar approaches.
Similarly, almost every city has an old area which is very congested.
Congested, yes.
Where in the time of emergency, you will not find an ambulance which can go through. Even a fire vehicle can't go through.
Yes.
So I think that's a very novel initiative to cater to this.
Absolutely, sir. So great. And Mr. Dr. Binu Francis, understand there's a very unique, exercise in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala has happened. I think they've created something called as women-friendly space zone, which when I read that, first thing that I could associate with this topic as well. News to hear. In this space, it also has been complemented with she autos, she toilets, and a pink patrol also means there is lady patrols who are queuing around. So basically, it's an area specifically designed for women folks to go down and enjoy. And this has been successfully rolled out in district in Thiruvananthapuram. Sir, could you share some lights on it and how it has impacted the people?
Thank you, and good evening, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and organizers especially. And coming to his question, see, the topic here is how the security or safety or the health is transformed through digitally. So we have some discussion from the early morning till how this digital platform transforms the lives of the ordinary people. So we have a good story. It's a real story in Trivandrum Corporation. Every city corporation has its own story, which directly affect the lives of the people to raise the standard of the living standards of people. Of course, we have a story how the digital platform improve the safety or the health concepts of the ordinary people in Trivandrum. See, Trivandrum city is one of the vibrant and dynamic city, which is one of the largest city in Kerala in terms of geographical area and population. My topic is on water supply. See, around 70 to 72% of the total household and more than 90% of the institutions are connected with the piped water. See, we have a sole agency, Kerala Water Authority. These are para-states which provide this drinking water under the government or the corporation. But there are certain areas where these pipe connections are not there, and there are also certain bulk demand organizations also there. So there is a space for these tanker lorries, of course. Maybe there are 500 tanker lorries in 2018, but this created a mafia, unholy nexus with the police authorities and the local politicians, including the officials of the corporations. So they are charging exorbitant rate, unreasonable charge. There is no control mechanism. From where it is sourced, the water from where it is sourced, they are not serving on real-time basis. If they are paying, they are delivering maybe 1 or 2 days after. See, this is the commercial we have, and there is an incident where some on tanker lorry provided drinking water, which affect the health of the people. Waterborne diseases are there. Wide criticism in news media and the political level. So there are so discussion. They blamed the corporation, and we have some discussion, and many stakeholders meeting how we can control and arrest this kind of mafia. As political leaders are support us, our corporation. See, we have provided a smartphone, Trivandrum smart app. This is an e-platform whereby all the people or the stakeholders are enrolled in. One is the police authorities, and the second is the Kerala Water Authority, and the tanker lorry owners, then drivers, then including this corporation people. So whenever there is a demand, they can make their demand is, I want this 5,000 liter of this, water, or maybe 3,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. They can raise their demand through this app. They can directly remit their amount. It will go to Water Authority, a major source, and the charging the conveyance allowance to the tanker owners, and 100 rupees as the service charge to the corporation. As these tanker owners went to the High Court, and then to the Division Bench, then to the Supreme Court. This corporation has no authority, but we have bylaw, and the Supreme Court finally decided is what the thing which the corporations did is good. Lots, maybe 10 plus page judgment. See, what is the beauty of this scheme is, now there is no mafia at all, one thing. The second thing is, we got more than 1 crore rupees for the last 1 year. 1 year. Not a single rupee before that we have. The second thing is, they are charging the rate fixed by the corporation only. The third thing is real-time service. If they raise their demand, of course, they will serve the water within 1 hour or 2 hours. But they know who is coming, who is supplying, within what time they are supplying. Again, there is a regulator. If there is any complaint, they can raise the voice. Of course, that will be redressed properly, effectively, reasonably. Again, there is only 102 vehicles. They are providing this water supply. This is the story we have. Now we know from where they are sourcing. Only from the Kerala Water Authority's vending point they are sourcing the water from there. This is one story. Again, similar situation is there in sewerage. Again, we have sewerage, this is a MLD capacity of 107, treatment capacity. But only 42 watts are covered out of 100 watts. So there is a demand for these tanker lorries. Again, we are bringing all these platform, registering all the vehicles, and if there is a demand, the people can also register the same. We got more than 2 crore in the last year as an revenue. Before that, we have zero revenue. So this is the beauty of digital platform in service delivery, where we have no experimental at all. So this kind of innovation is happening anywhere. This is the thing that I want to share with you. Coming to the question of our moderator regarding the women-friendly ecosystem we have. See, we have Kudumbashree system in Kerala. Of course, we have, everybody is aware of these things. How these Kudumbashree worked in Kerala in alleviating the poverty content in Kerala. As per the last Nidhi Ayog's reports, the poverty content in Kerala is 0.73, which is the least in India. We have this infant mortality rate only 7. Our life expectancies are around 79. What I am referring is, just now we are talking where we are 22 or 17. Okay, it's another matter. Come to our friendly ecosystem we have. See, we have a group of CDS, ADS, and they are organizing this women fold, especially for empowering and make them a revenue earner, income earner of that family. Again, we are providing subsidy for livelihood purpose. They are now became a earning member of that family. So there we create a base for this female or this woman. Now we have 50% corporators, water councillors. Again, the elected representatives, including the mayor, is reserved 50% seat is reserved for there. We have so many schemes, including this auto walas, this pink auto. More than 1,000 pink or this auto rickshaw drivers are there from the women fold. We have provided this subsidy. Then we have created hubs. More than 100 hubs are there for providing service to the women. They can raise their voice. We are also empowering them. We are providing opportunity in many fields. So these kinds of activities are there. Also, we have separate budget provision in our budget. More than 22% is earmarked exclusively for these women. Maybe it may be generally maybe more than 22 plus another 25 is there, but exclusively for this. So specifically for enlightening the women or empowering the women, or they are raising the standards of women. So many schemes are there, of course. Thank you for a patient hearing.
Good. So that we could see there is something special coming out for women's safety, and I think that was the first of the kind in the country, I would say, and they're looking at to scale it up to entire state of Kerala as well. So it's a very good initiative. Now, finally, from an industry perspective, could we, the three key levers could be in terms of digital experience, security. In his last speech, he had shared about how security plays an important role, and last is robotics in terms of automation. How geared is the industry ready for helping government in these three levers?
Thank you, Arun. I think it has been quite a insightful, in understanding from Mr. Naveen Kumar. He's mentioning about this whole new definition of caregiving or the healthcare network has been created in AP, and so Pranay ji has explained about clean and safe Varanasi, at the same time managing this huge footfall of tourists and more efficiently. I'm sure that Shafqat Saab has spoke about mortality rate reduction with their planning in JJ&K, and Mr. Binu definitely has been talking about huge amount of effort has gone and result is coming on the logistics, service delivery, and definitely the healthcare side of it. Now, if we look at this new standards, the benchmarks being set by the leaders of the government in various states, and definitely it throws a lot of challenge, I'll say the positive challenge or healthy challenge to the industry today. At the same time, if you look at the demography of India, I think it's very uniquely positioned today because close to more than 65% of our population is having the smartphones. More than 70% population is having the internet connections. I think that itself makes things, I'll not say complex, but make things positively complex, because users, citizens will be more demanding, and they'll be looking for more experience. They'll be looking for better quality of service. So while doing that, it ultimately comes to industry perspective. We're coming from the IT industry. I look at the IT perspective, how applications or the services can be delivered to better quality applications. Now, when we talk about this, it can be mobile, it can be portal, it can be anything else. Now, but important is that when we write these applications, whoever industry organization is, that they have to write application in such a way so that it can deliver those kind of performance, those kind of loads. One. Second, definitely security is very, very important, because today
we are talking about security first. I think last panel has been talking about that. Now, again, same thing starts from the beginning, from the left side, because when you write application, it has to be in such a way that the least amount of vulnerability is there. Because when you deploy the application, then you find out the cyber risk, and it is very difficult to correct. It takes long time. So it's important to have quality of applications through proper testing, proper DevOps framework to be maintained, proper application lifecycle management framework to be followed. And we talk about India enterprise architecture. I think that is already in place. Second, the cyber security has to be there. Application security in practice should be maintained. And definitely the third one I'll probably talk about is that today nothing is abundant. Everything comes at a cost. So we have to do more with less. So whether it's a manpower or whether it is a resource, whether it's a IT investment or any investment per se. So that means there has to be process, there has to be automation. And automation has to be introduced into the process and physically as well as using the digital. So again, my point is that industry has solutions, has got framework, how we can include the automation into your framework, into your process, so that you can do the same thing with a lesser amount of manpower and do it more efficiently. Whether it is a service delivery, or it is IT operations, or it is a cyber security. So I just make it short because I think these three aspects, if it is considered, I think it can be well planned from the beginning itself.
Very well said. I think the three parameters are very critical. I think we have covered up all the points related to our panels to share. If there are any quick questions, we will take it. Otherwise, we would, roll back to the thanking sections. Are there any quick questions from the audience? Okay, thank you. I think we are at the fag end, so extend my sincere thanks to each of the panelists here. They have shared their life experiences in making this entire journey, and thank all the audience for patiently listening in, and hopefully you had a nourishing session. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all.
Can we have a louder round of applause? Now calling upon Mr. Amit Lal, Public Sector Lead Freshworks, to please join us on the stage to felicitate this amazing panel. And Performance Consulting, Deloitte, India. A huge round of applause. Dr. N. Satyanarayana, IAS Commissioner and Director of Municipal Administration, CDMA, Government of Telangana. Mr. G.S. Naveen Kumar, IAS Special Secretary, Health and Family Welfare, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Pranay Singh, IAS Commissioner, Varanasi Municipal Corporation and CEO of Varanasi Smart City Limited. Dr. Shafqat Khan, Additional Mission Director, Ayushman Bharat, Digital Health Mission UT of Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Binu Francis, Secretary, Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, Government of Kerala. Mr. Amit Shukla, PCS, Assistant Municipal Commissioner, Varanasi Municipal Corporation. Mr. Prasun Talutkar, National Manager, Business Development, Digital India and Strategic Projects, Government and PSU, Microfocus. Can we have a group photograph? I request all the esteemed speakers.